So, you're thinking about a career in data. And if you've been online lately, you've probably seen two completely different stories, right? On one hand, you've got people saying AI is about to make every data analyst obsolete. And on the other, you hear that these jobs are about to explode. So, what is actually going on? Well, that's what we're here to do. Cut right through all that noise. We're going to look at what the big market reports are saying, but more importantly, we're going to get the real story from people who are actually hiring, VPs and directors, to give you a clear, no hype picture of what's happening. Here's how we're going to break it all down. We'll start with the big question on everyone's mind, then see what the official reports say. After that, we'll get a serious AI reality check, look at the new hiring landscape, and I'll give you a playbook for success. And finally, we'll wrap it up with the final verdict. Okay, so let's just get right to it. The big question. In a world where AI is getting smarter every single day, is becoming a data analyst a smart, long-term career move? Or are you basically training for a job that's about to disappear? All right, let's start with a 30,000-foot view. What are the major global reports and organizations telling us about the future of data jobs? And I gotta tell you, from up here, things look really, really good. I mean, just look at these numbers. The World Economic Forum is projecting a 40% growth for data analysts and scientists. That's huge. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, they're forecasting 34% growth for data scientists and a solid 21% for operations research analysts. So on paper, demand looks absolutely explosive. But, and this is a big but, here's a little reality check. A recent MIT report found that a whopping 95% of corporate generative AI pilot programs are failing. This is so important because it shows that actually replacing complex human jobs is way, way harder than the headlines make it seem. AI is not some magic switch you can just flip. And to put an even finer point on this, that same MIT research found that even for a task like computer vision, which is pretty straightforward for AI, it's only economically viable to automate about 23% of the work. Now think about data analysis, a job that needs context, business savvy, and critical thinking. That is just worlds more complex. So the reports look great, but the actual rollout of AI is proving to be slow and complicated. So what's really happening inside companies right now? How are they thinking about AI in the context of their data teams? This really is the pivotal question, isn't it? Is AI here to take the job away from the analyst, or is it here to give the analyst superpowers? And the answer from industry leaders is overwhelmingly clear. Just listen to Nate, a VP of Business Strategy. He says AI is seen as a multiplier. It doesn't replace what analysts do. It amplifies it. It lets them ask bigger questions, work faster, and deliver way more value. And we are talking about a serious boost in productivity. The experts we're talking to are seeing their analysts become 2 to 4 times faster when they use AI as a partner. So this isn't about replacing people, it's about making your best people dramatically more powerful. Okay, let's switch gears and talk about the hiring market, because this is where a lot of you are probably feeling a real disconnect. The reports all say massive growth, but when you're out there looking for a job, it feels tough. So what's going on? Here's the critical shift you have to understand. Those big, established tech companies, they're not really focused on hiring tons of new entry-level analysts right now. Their main goal is upskilling the people they already have. The real action for entry-level talent, for the freshers, is happening at startups and in consulting firms. And this quote from a global director at a major company just hits the nail on the head. The strategy is to make the current team better, stronger, faster with AI, not necessarily to just add more people at the bottom. And that's why it might feel like the doors at some of those big dream companies are a little harder to open right now if you're just starting out. Okay, so knowing that AI is a tool, not a replacement, and knowing that the hiring market has shifted, how do you actually build a successful career in this new world? This is your game plan. This is how you win. The future belongs to what we're calling the Data Analyst 2.0. Now, the 1.0 analyst is a technician. They know how to use the tools, how to build a dashboard. That job, yeah, that one is at risk. The 2.0 analyst is a strategic partner. They use the tools to ask the right questions and to drive real, tangible business results. So how do you get to be a 2.0? It's all about mastering these 6 core skills that go beyond just the tech. It's about managing stakeholders, communicating powerful stories with data, really understanding the business you're in, thinking critically, being curious, and yeah, becoming a generalist and using AI tools to make yourself better. But look, in a competitive market, great skills aren't always enough. You have to get noticed. So here is a concrete networking plan. Pick 30 companies you'd kill to work for. Find the key people on LinkedIn, the analysts, the managers, the recruiters, and don't just send a cold connect request. For the next 3 to 6 months, engage with their hosts, leave thoughtful comments, build these tiny micro relationships. So when you finally ask for a referral, you're not a stranger. You're that smart, familiar person from their feed. All right, we've covered a ton of ground, from those big macro reports all the way down to a specific networking strategy. So let's bring it all home and give you the final verdict. So let's do a super quick recap. The big reports? They're very positive. AI? It's a tool, a multiplier, not a job killer. The hiring market? It's definitely shifted. The so-called soft skills? They are now the hard skills. And networking? It's absolutely essential. So, is data analyst a good career in 2026? The answer is a resounding yes, but it's a conditional yes. Your success is going to depend on these three things: your commitment to becoming that strategic data analyst 2.0, your ability to stand out from the crowd, and your dedication to never stop learning and evolving. So that fear we started with, that AI is coming for your job, that's only true if you're stuck in the old way of thinking. The opportunity is absolutely massive, but it demands that you evolve. The path forward is clear. So the final question really isn't for me to answer, it's for you. Are you ready to become a data analyst 2.0?